And I am live. A whiteboard is going to be featured in this video. Hello, my dear friends, beloved community. This is Katerina Satori. I wanted to share with you a very simple visual of what happens when we have a trapped creative potential that we don't know how to unlock and how to express it to have more successful and fulfilling lives. So if you and I meet for the very first time, because I will be sharing this video on my other platforms. My name is Katerina. Here's Gracie, my little fur child. Gracie is running around. My name is Katerina. I come to you from Southern California. Originally, I am from Russia. I was born and raised in Russia, and I've been in the United States for almost 20 years. And I came to this country in search of my potential. Gracie, what is it? She's been distracted. I came to this country in search of my potential, how to unlock it, how to express it, how to embody it. And in my professional life, I mentor leaders and impact driven entrepreneurs. I also teach, I lead group curriculums, and I lead transformational events. And it's just been a deep passion of mine of finding the most effective transformational modalities to help people shift from creative block into creative joy. Right? I wanted to say creative liberation, but creative joy comes when you move from being stuck, uninspired, right? Over analyzing or being concerned or worrying about something to finding that block that gets in the way and transforming it and moving forward. So I wanted to create this video to share with you a very simple graph and kind of break it down, that even if this is going to be the only video that you see that I offer to the world, it will create a new perspective and it will create a new sense of possibility for you. Right now, I am highlighting a very special experience that starts next week. It's my signature curriculum called Frequency Shift. It's a combination of alchemy, karmic clearing, and quantum technology to shift your energy and to reset your entire energetic field so you begin to attract new aligned opportunities, new waves of good fortune, and you begin to show up as this new empowered liberated version of you. So before I share with you the anatomy of a creative block, this is based on years of study of different transformational techniques from subconscious mind, conscious mind, superconscious mind, and just the deep passion and curiosity of what really holds people back, right? And there is a mix of reasons, but I look at blocks not as a curse, not as something that we need to be frightened by. A block or resistance, or when you find yourself stuck or frozen and unable to act, it's simply an invitation to ask yourself, what is coming up for me? Maybe it's from your past life. Maybe it's from your family blueprint, because our conditioning, basically our key psychological wiring, happens in the first 6 years. So a lot of the patterns, a lot of things that block us or get in the way, repeating themes in our life, whether it is money challenges, fear of being visible, relationship challenges, right? Not feeling safe in the world. All of those patterns have roots somewhere. And those patterns have roots in energy. And when I begin diving into the quantum conversation, really understanding how does the patterns form, I found out that not only patterns made of information, but entire universe is made of information. And this information is not static. So here's the metaphor that my guides gave me last night when I was here dancing by the fireplace, moving my energy. They gave me this phrase: you are made of packets of information that are constantly spinning. And since everything in this universe is connected through the invisible energetic web, and by the law of attraction, you are going to attract to yourself people, opportunities, experiences that will match the spinning packets of information that are in your energy field, in your biofield. You know, the biofield, I imagine the biofield is like, takes like a shape of an apple, right? So you have one side and another side, and you actually have this big aura that is moving before you. So when we meet somebody for the first time, we actually meet their biofield, we meet their energy, we meet their aura. And in our aura, we have these packets of information that constantly spinning. So if you have a pattern that you struggle to transform, maybe it's a pattern that is, you know, the addiction pattern, or it's a pattern of making money and getting rid of it really fast, not being able to maintain a prosperous feeling. Maybe it's a pattern of, you know, choosing relationships that are not serving you. So a pattern is a set of information that is spinning. It keeps attracting you the same experiences. To change what you attract, you need to change information that is in your field. Is this clear? Is this let me know if I communicated clearly. Hi Rebecca. This is the first time I'm introducing this framework, my dear ones. And you know, whenever I find an empowering framework, I'm so excited to share it as a gift to everyone who is in the space to receive it, because what I want to empower everyone is that we are never victims of our current circumstances. Our current circumstances are a result of our past thinking, past energy, past lack of presence, right? And past decisions. All of that can be changed for you to create new future. We create new future by how we show up for this present moment. So right now you're listening to me, you're making new connections, you're realizing, wow, your entire energy is made of information that is constantly spinning and broadcasting a signal of what you're available to, what are you a match to, what are you ready for, what are you worthy of, right? So if we change the information that is being broadcasted from your energy field, you are beginning to change what are you attracting to, what are you a match to, what is coming towards you. And this is why I am so deeply devoted to working on the energy first. Working on the energy first. And then you align on the inside, and then you take a new action that is inspired from a new set of information that you're broadcasting into the field. Really cool, right? Okay, so this is clear, right, darlings? I want all of us to feel that sense of empowerment. I can change information within my energy field, and I can start shaping my reality bubble. You know, I see the reality bubble is like a funnel, right? It's like a funnel. This is your personal reality, and you are creating it. You have a past feedback, but it's also the future that you are creating right here. Let's talk about anatomy of creative block. Your and my creative essence lies right here. Unrepeatable, liquid, brilliant genius. Your unique spark right here. And what is around it what is around it is the past experiences, the past memories of you approaching your genius and getting scared to really express it, right? Every time that happened in the past, it created a memory. It's almost like a holographic slide, right? Like a holographic slide that says, you know what? In the past, when I tried to express my voice, get on video, boldly speak about my service, stand in my power, something happened that made me wobble. Something happened that made me uncertain, and that created this emotional memory, energetic impact, and it is there, right? So that's past life, recent past of this current incarnation. But then we also have the generational ancestral imprinting. And when I start diving into that conversation and I start looking at, well, what was the story of women in my life? What is the story of my dad's lineage in my life? And because as children, the first 6 years, 7 years, we are so dependent on our parents' approval and love that we will literally take on their conditioning, right? We take on the packets of information that they carry, and we begin to, there's very little separation between who we are and what our parents are. This is why it's so important to do the generational work and ancestral work, whether it's through family constellation, karmic clearing, energy healing, blessing your lineage, untangling yourself from that memory and from that conditioning. One of the big examples that I like to share is clearing unconscious loyalty and clearing fear to outshine your lineage. We have an opportunity to be pioneers of our lineage. We have an opportunity to go beyond what our ancestors were able to go. And that, what is needed for that, is to honor your ancestors and being willing to leave them behind in a way, energetically speaking, right? I remember I went to an energy healer and I was working on my relationship patterns. Coming from such a dense conditioning with my mom having 5 husbands, right? So I grew up with 5 different stepdads. So what was modeled for me the first 7 years is that, the masculine is not safe, it's inconsistent, it doesn't stay, it only takes, it wounds. I will run out of fingers listing deep conditioning relationship blueprints. And I did so much work on clearing that conditioning, detangling my consciousness. But one piece I didn't even realize I had, but when I went to a healer and she muscle tested and she said, you are carrying your mother's timeline on you. And it was like a shock to my system. I didn't even know it was possible energetically to be so entangled with your parent that you are literally carrying their timeline. There were two girls in my family, me, younger daughter, and my sister, older daughter. My older sister looks like my mom, and the older she becomes, the more she becomes my mother. It is just, it's so wild to see, 2 kids of the same family. One is literally becoming her mother. Exactly the same blueprint, uh, different, a little bit better choices, a little bit just the life trajectory slightly better, but you can see the same manners, you can see the same expression, the same tonality. This is how conditioning is so strong, right? So to clear generational conditioning is a game changer. And you can start by practicing, forgiveness. I find the forgiveness is some of the deepest alchemy of understanding and honoring your ancestors and practicing forgiveness. But I would actually recommend to invest the time, resources, and energy in clearing your entire lineage. This is exactly what I did with my father. I dedicated the time to heal and clear my father's lineage. And after 10 years of us not speaking, we are talking again. We turned the page, right? We came into harmony and alignment. So I'm passionate speaking about this because I see it work. It works again and again and again. So all this, so this is your creative potential. This is your brilliance. This is your unique expression. This is your genius. This is something. This is the depth of your talent. Something that comes so naturally and easy for you. And why are we not living from the zone of genius? Because we have all these fears and all these doubts and all these worries that we're not enough, that nobody's gonna value for it. And it's really vulnerable when you approach the depth, the core of your brilliance. It's actually one of the most vulnerable places to touch. And the way people express that, they often tell me in the mentorship session, Katerina, I'm afraid being seen. And I hear that and I say, yes, I can emphasize with that and I can see how it appears to be so. But if I can offer you a different perspective, what is really happening, you are touching the wound of unworthiness. You are touching the fear that your genius is not really valuable as it is, that you need to add all this extra stuff, that your natural, pure essence is not enough. That's what you're really afraid of. That's where all these stories come up, all these worries, all these fears, all these avoidance patterns. And that's what we get to clear. That's what we get to transform. That's what we get to change the information in your information system. Now, there is another piece to that, and it's our past life conditioning, right? And one of my favorite examples for past life work is money wounds. So, pretty much every person that I've met on my path of working with people has some kind of a money wound conditioning rooted in scarcity. Because, my dear friends, we were born into a society, patriarchal society, 5,000 years of patriarchy, right? Where the conditioning was the scarcity, lack, and limitation is embedded into the collective mind. So we come into this world and we immediately imprinted by that. I think about a friend of mine who grew up in suburbia of United States, physically lacking nothing. Shelter was provided. They were going to decent, safe schools. They had clothes, they had even, things for hobbies. They were middle class. But when I talk to my friend and start asking her deeper questions, I helped her understand that she actually was imprinted by the energetics of scarcity from a very early age because her parents were fighting around money. They constantly were worried about money. They constantly were thinking they don't have enough. And when you grow up with the caregivers that broadcast that message, in your first 6 years, you take it on as a sponge. That becomes your reality. That becomes your conditioning. So even though physically you don't even have a proof of lack, but internally you're so imprinted, not enough, not enough, not enough. And how my friend embodied that, she struggled with hoarding and not being able to let go of stuff, right? So having a lot of clutter in her home. When you have a lot of clutter in your home, it's a mirror what's happening in your psyche. It means that you don't know how to let go of stuff from your psyche, right? And when you start clearing out your inner self, you begin to become more You begin to create more spaciousness in your home. You begin to say, what I can let go. All this clutter just creates static in my energy. Every single item that we have in our home emits energy, emits information. So if we have something in our home that is old, that is not useful, that simply takes space, it's time to let it go. It's time to release it. You know, some clothes that you don't wear that from 20 years old, they don't even fit you, and why are you holding on? Let go, let go. One of my favorite things is to keep clearing, right? Keep clearing. I remember when I spent 5.5 years as a minimalist. I lived in a tiny little studio, one room, and I had to let go of a lot of things that I had in the previous 3 bedroom house. And it was a very beautiful cleansing process because I enjoy releasing things and becoming simple, you know, and I became minimalist for 5.5 years. And it was fantastic because you realize how much you can live with what is essential, right? And then life invited me to expand after 5.5 years. They said, okay, you have learned that lesson of minimalism. Now let's expand and create more spacious reality for yourself. But please keep organized closet. That's what I've experienced, you know? So keep organizing the closets and clearing the space. So another perspective on the money wounds, my dear ones, is business karma. I really wanted to address that. Clearing business karma is absolutely crucial and liberating because we all, or let's just say most of us, had some kind of an experience. If you are an entrepreneur, if you have your own business or you're building your own business, most of us have made certain choices that felt good in the moment, right? They brought us powerful lessons, but they shook us up. You know, I remember the time where I was trying to figure out this entrepreneurship path, and I literally put every single thing that I had in a little bit of savings into yet another program, yet another program, yet another program, and I regret nothing because for me, it was so important to unlock another code, unlock another code, unlock another code, right? And I remember I went to, you know, to my like a retirement account, and I had like the last $5,000 in it, and I took it and I put it into a program that really was above my head, and it wasn't even the timing for me to study that, but I just decided to do it anyway, and I remember carrying the guilt and regret of that financial decision. And that created static in my field, right? That gave me a magnet to keep attracting other things that are a match to that guilt and regret and even a little bit of financial shame. So when I've discovered energetic clearing technology, I went back to memory files and say, did I have any business regrets? Did I have any business guilt, business shame that I can clear from my field so I can move forward with this new energetic stance, with this new energetic point or energetic canvas? So again, even if you and I will never meet again, if this is the only video you watch of me, may this serve you to go back in your memory, in your meditation, in whatever way you work with energy, and to say to yourself, did I have any business traumas, business karmas, right? Anything that feels unresolved. Because if it's unresolved, it keeps spinning information in your field and it keeps remaining to be a magnet for what you don't want to your life. All right? So, anatomy of a creative block, whenever we feel stuck, plateau, unable to move forward, It's not the time to get frightened or to get depressed or to become inactive. It's actually a time to pull in, do your practices, right? Why I'm so tireless. I am so tireless in igniting more and more people and connecting them to spiritual practices because I know if people know how to breathe, how to move, how to connect to the inner guidance, how to meditate, how to open up and share their burdens with others, how to ask for support, how to forgive themselves, how to feel compassion for themselves, then whenever they encounter the creative resistance or block within, they're able to source the inner guidance, they're able to turn things around, and they're able to shape shift their reality, right? Again and again and again. So I wanted to share that. So anatomy of a creative block, whatever we call it, whatever nice name we want to say, I'm afraid being seen, I'm afraid to receive, I'm afraid to go for it, simply a past memory that has not been transformed. And it creates a stagnation in our field, and we hesitate. And when we hesitate and we don't move forward, you know what the result is? Regret. Regret. And I would rather live a life of daring and risk than live a life of quiet regret. You know, every morning when I wake up, I say, I am going to squeeze life out of this day. I will not hold back my voice. I will not wait and procrastinate on my actions. I'm going to take a step forward. I'm going to move my dreams, my vision, my projects forward today. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust my guidance. I'm going to trust my embodiment. I'm going to trust my vision, right? So that's the conversation that I have every morning, my dear ones, every morning. And on the days where I feel off, because I'm in the human body just like you, on the days where maybe I'm approaching my moon cycle, right? 3 days before the moon cycle, that's a time to cry. That's a time to say, oh, I feel so not like myself, but that's okay. That's a time to hold yourself and to just allow yourself to be, right? So on the off days or where it's simply a dip into the energy, I don't push myself. I don't force myself. I simply take a good care of myself. And I say, oh, Katerina, it's one of those days where you simply get to read, go on a book bench, read your books because that's what nourishes me. Sit on the grass with your bare foot, right? Allow the sun to kiss your face. Go breathe some fresh air, right? This is not the day for leadership and service. This is the day for you to be human, for you to be you, right? Even more. So learning to ride these waves, this energetic waves, knowing that you will have the peak energetic days and now you're going to have a low energetic days. But what I'm finding is like the when we are connected to our spiritual practices, we're able to maintain equanimity more and more. We're able to maintain witness awareness and become more receptive to what's unfolding without taking life personally, without attaching too many stories to what it means. You simply say, life is offering me this experience. You know, what kind of meaning I'm going to give to this experience will determine how I'm going to engage with it, right? So it's such a fluid way to be with it. I wanted to offer you that inspiration. But the main point that I'd love to finish this video with, and the sun is coming, just so the main point, my dear ones, think of yourself as an energy being who has packets of information, right? And each packet of information is a set of beliefs, thought forms, uh, feelings, right? The ancestral energies, collective energies, right? So a ton of information, right? And especially if you're an empath, you will take on a lot of energies into your field. That's why it's so important to practice energetic hygiene, energetic clearing, energetic transformation. This is one of the reasons I teach at a frequency shift live. We start next Thursday. We have a beautiful group. It's a completely new way that I teach it. I never teach the same course in the same way. Even if I tried, it's impossible because I channel my curriculum. We're going to work with the power of sacred geometry. We're going to work with alchemy, our ability to transmute low density energies into harmonious, coherent energy. And my intention is to assist everyone to reset their field and to transform these packets of information that broadcasting what they don't want to attract. So we transform that and we energetically prepare for 2024. Yesterday, I spoke at a podcast, and what came through is the name for the year 2024 is it's a year of strength. It's a year of strength. So if you have strength, you will move through that year by unlocking new levels of that. It takes strength to dream. It takes strength to actualize your potential. It takes strength to be visible. It takes strength to be direct and on purpose, right? It takes strength. So when we clear our inner being, our energy from anything that takes space that we can let go, we have room to express more of our potential, more of our strength. On this note, thank you so much for joining me live in this live stream. I hope this served you. If you're watching this as a replay, let me know in the comments one takeaway that you received from this, because this gives me a perspective of what landed for you, what I can transmit more clear next time, right? Every time I share, the transmission will come through in a new way. If you'd love to join Frequency Shift Live, we start on Thursday. We're gonna go with 5 different energy transmissions where you are going to tap into your sacred wisdom, your soul power, release and clear disappointments, regrets, energy hits from 2023, and connect to your true power, your creative potential, and meet 2024 as a warrior of light that you are. To dance with existence and to trust what's unfolding. That's why we're here. I will drop the link underneath this video of how you can join Frequency Shift. It's still offered at a sliding scale. This is the very first time I've ever done that, and so many people are taking advantage of that opportunity. My vision is to empower all of us to become alchemists within, and we can do it by practicing one energy clearing at a time. Until I see you next time, be well.